30 years had passed. Decades without rain.
My love for Prince of Persia runs all the way back to the original game by Broderbund on the Apple II. An incredibly challenging platformer, that classic game was all about dangerous traps and challenging combat. Even hailing from a bygone era, it has more in common with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown than I expected. This newest game, a 2.5D platform action-adventure, is the best blends of Sands of Time and the original, featuring tight platforming and even tighter combat, combined with magic and danger around every corner. I recently got to spend 4 hours at the beginning areas of the game ahead of its release next month. Get ready for an incredible adventure. This is a fantastic return to form. I'm Ron Burke, Editor-in-Chief for Gaming Trend. This is our hands-on preview for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. The story of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is that of a warrior named Sargon, a member of a group calling themselves the Immortals. The Immortals are a group of mercenaries that possess incredible resilience, acrobatic skills, and strength, their powers bordering on the supernatural. Hired to save the Persian capital Persepolis, they've arrived at the foot of Mount Kaf and the entrance to the rapidly falling city. As they breach the gates, they encounter something otherworldly that's having a distorting effect on time itself. What seems like days for the Immortals translates to months, years, or even decades for those trapped inside. Now it's up to Sargon and the rest of the Immortals to break the curse of this place and rescue Prince Ghassan before they succumb to its mystic time-bending power. Like the original Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown is all about exploration. In the first title, the game literally starts with the slam of a portcullis and unceremoniously drops you into the dungeon. Here, Sargon is dropped into the thick of things as the rest of the Immortals scatter to explore the palace. Soon after arriving, Sargon finds that his time operates differently here. I won't spoil how, but if you're hoping for some of those sweet Sands of Time vibes, you're going to enjoy what's ahead for Sargon. At its heart, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is the perfect combination of Metroidvania exploration and some of the tightest combat mechanics you'll find anywhere. I've had the chance to play this section before, and it was surprising to return to it a few months later to see so many improvements and additions. They say that a game truly comes together in its final few months, and this is an excellent example of that. There is, however, one area that's been unshakable since the game's first reveal all the way until now: an unwavering devotion to 60 frames per second regardless of platform. Yes, even on the Switch. When the combat timing is this solid, you need a stable platform to support it, and regardless of what's going on in the background, foreground, or how many enemies are on screen, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown's performance is top-notch, even in this early preview code. One of the obvious pillars of the original Prince of Persia: Sands of Time title was slick and acrobatic combat. That game felt acrobatic, and the titular prince moved effortlessly, sliding from attack to dodge and back again, and with deadly results. In The Lost Crown, Sargon uses 2 scimitars to dispatch his foes as well, flipping, sliding underneath, and artfully attacking and dodging to smoothly cut down any enemy. As you move through the story, you'll also learn new attack moves, growing Sargon's capabilities including stunning aerial attacks and powerful counterattacks. His greatest tool in his arsenal, however, is the simple parry. Parrying is important in any game where combat can turn on a dime, and nowhere did I feel that more than in The Lost Crown. Your foes start off as old soldiers ravaged by the hand of time. They're slow, shambling in a zombie-like way, and generally aren't that much of a threat. As you go deeper into Mount Kaf and the palace, you'll find faster, stronger, and more armored enemies. Each have their own strengths and weaknesses, and as you'd expect, but all of them have one primary weakness: you can block their attacks. It's not every attack, mind you, but most attacks can be parried, knocking back a foe and providing a crucial opening for counterattack. Even the giant manticore I faced at the end of this demo could be countered, and in doing so gave me a chance to stun and destroy him. Countering is a big part of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and the sooner I could move from frantically attacking to methodically approaching combat, the more effective I'd be. As you explore, you'll soon find that you aren't alone. Sure, the Immortals are running around as well, but you'll also encounter people ranging from the mundane to literal gods. Shopkeepers offer up amulets and equipment for sale. These amulets provide additional advantages such as bolstering an attack, adding a resistance to poison, which is important for that manticore fight I just mentioned, additional health, and more. In the beginning you can equip 3, but a bit of exploration will unlock additional slots for equipment. Once you meet the Keeper of the Forge, you'll be able to enhance your equipment, crafting new gear and upgrading what you have. It's very RPG light, but it helps break up the action with equipment that can make a real difference. Without revealing too much, ultimately you do gain access to time powers. One example is a simple dash move where Sargon can jump forward a bit, something that, when combined with parry, allowed me to dispatch Jandahar, the Manticore. The other power that I used extensively is a bit more unconventional. Sargon can drop a shadow marker, and when needed, rewind time to translocate back to that spot instantly. This has combat applications to be sure, but I used it more as an insurance policy when attempting some of the game's more devious platforming puzzles. The aforementioned amulets can be used to augment your powers as well. One amulet I found would fire a laser bolt anytime that I activated my translocation, allowing me to set traps for my foes. One example of this came from foes that had shields that ran from the top of their head to their feet. You couldn't easily slide underneath them, and jumping over them obviously carried risks as well. Teleporting behind them to strike them and then running a bolt of light through them cut them down all but instantly. As I explored the first 4 biomes of the game, I was struck by the size and depth of each area, though my demoist did promise that there are many more ahead. Hidden areas revealed new challenges as well as the chance to test everything that I had learned. I found one section that had no healing and a platforming challenge that was a huge leap above what I'd encountered prior, pushing my skills to the absolute limits. In another area, the jump forward monster difficulty was a surprise, but a fantastic amulet waited as a reward. Truthfully, I could spend all 4 hours just exploring and not pushing the story much at all, and still been satisfied with what's on offer. It's that good. Toward the end of my time with the game, I made my way into some sort of dark prison. In it, I encountered a slender foe with some sort of man-trap staff. Around him was a dark sphere that represented his limited vision. If Sargon found himself inside this bubble, it would instantly agitate him, pushing this enemy to chase Sargon relentlessly. If he managed to catch Sargon, he would lock him in jail, forcing him to escape once again. This reminded me of all the best parts of the Emmy encounters in Metroid Dread, and pointed to some of the enemy variety that lies ahead. Truthfully, I could spend this entire video describing all that I saw in the 4 hours I had with the game and still not cover it all. The increased verticality, the expansive traps and hidden passages around every corner, the colorful characters that dot throughout Mont Caf and the palace, and the massive and challenging bosses that lie ahead are just scratching the surface. There was a lot of worry about a Prince of Persia game that doesn't directly tie to the storyline we've come to know and love. I'm happy to report that this offshoot is not only successful, but the start of something amazing. We won't have to wait long to see where this grand adventure takes us. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown comes to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch on January 18th, 2024. I'm Ron Burke, Editor-in-Chief for GamingTrend.com. Thanks for joining me. If you like this, hit like and subscribe. I think you know how this works. And we'll see you again very soon.